Hello viewers, welcome back. So as part of our playlist of cost center, this is the third video in the series and part 2 of the section under understanding the cost center. So in the last session, we briefly saw what are the different units that can be treated as cost center for tracking of expenses and also the revenues or income. So in this session, we will go deeper into each of these units or cost centers. We will take an example of how these cost centers can be used by different organizations. And also quickly, we will see in Tally how these cost centers are created and how the transactions are captured. In the last video, we briefly understood the units which an organization can consider as cost centers for tracking expenses and income. Remember, the term profit center is used once you track incomes. In this video, we shall learn about the unit of departments from a manufacturing company's perspective and also trading company. If we consider a manufacturing company which wants to track cost of their departments and also for certain departments which contributes to the revenue of the company where they want to track incomes also. Few examples for your knowledge. Departments of manufacturing companies can have departments such as production as a cost center, sales department, marketing department, maintenance, stores, HR and accounts, and there could be any other department which the organization feels fit to track. Now if we consider a trading organization, following could be the examples. Purchase department, sales and marketing, accounts, admin, support and services and any other departments. These examples are indicative and the organizations can have any number of departments to track. Let us now take this example of manufacturing companies departments and move on to Tally Prime and configure these cost centers and also pass few transactions for your ease of understanding. In my first video on cost center, you will see how the cost center are enabled for a company and what precautions need to be taken for cost center configuration for ledgers. We also passed few transactions with cost center allocation and viewed the result of this tracking in cost center reports with various permutation and combination. Quickly let me walk through the enablement of cost center for the benefit of the viewers. To enable cost center, you will have to go to F11 feature. Press F11 from the gateway of Tally. I'm going to press F11, and if you are not viewing the cost center option, then you go to show more features, click here and then say yes, enter, and you will now see the cost center option visible here. Come here and enable this option to yes and save the screen. Now when you come to master create, you will see the new option of cost center. In my first video, we saw how you can create individual cost centers. Now as we need to create multiple cost centers, I will show you how the same can be created using multi-create option. This option will allow you to create multiple cost centers in a single screen interface and finally save all of them at one go instead of creating them individually, which we saw in the first video. For us to create multiple cost centers, you can escape, come to chart of accounts, enter, then select cost centers, and on the right hand side button bar you will see this option called multi-masters. So click on multi-masters and you have this option of multi-create. So enter. Now it is asking you under which cost center you would want to create sub cost centers. Either you can select all item, or in this case we will create a parent cost center called as departments, and under those departments parent cost center we will create the sub cost centers. For us to create the primary cost center, all you have to do is just go up to create, enter. Now it will take you to single create, and now type the name departments, enter, and this will be under primary. Accept it and you will now see the primary cost center of departments have been created, and under this departments cost center we are going to create sub cost centers: production, sales, marketing. And you will notice that the primary cost center of department gets automatically selected here as under, and if there are no other cost centers to be created, all you have to do is just press enter at the blank here. It will ask you, do you want to accept this creation screen? Press enter. You will now see the cost centers have been created, and these cost centers are under the primary cost center of departments. Remember that once you enable cost center under F11 features, by default all the masters of profit and loss account, that is purchase account, sales account, income accounts and expenses ledger, will be enabled for cost center. Here you have to now revisit the ledgers for those you do not want to track cost center. In this example, we do not have purchase department. Hence, the company do not want to track all purchases. So you will have to alter the purchase ledger or ledgers and set cost center applicable to no. We are now ready to start capturing the transaction with the cost center allocation. Let us take an example of salary payment. The company has made a total payment of salary of rupees 10 lakhs. While capturing the voucher, you should have the breakup of salaries for each of the department. So what you see on the screen now gives you the total salary that is paid and also the individual department's salary that has been paid. Let us capture the transaction now. You can go to voucher entry. You don't have to go back to gateway of Tally and then select voucher. You can always use your secret number 3. So click on go to, and you will see here there is an option of creating a voucher. Select create voucher and press enter, and now you are in the voucher entry screen. Debit salaries, enter. The total salary paid is 10 lakh, enter. And the moment we enter the amount, now Tally is asking you for the cost center breakup. So when you press space bar, you will see all the cost centers, including the primary cost center of department. We will discuss about more in detail in the upcoming sessions of what is the benefit or use of primary cost centers. So currently we are going to select the sub cost centers, that is production 3 lakhs. So the entire amount of 10 lakh has been allocated to each of the cost centers, and you will notice here the cost center allocation for salary will be up to 10 lakh rupees, which is the amount that we have debited. So the 10 lakh has been allocated, enter, and it comes out credit your bank account and save this voucher. Next transaction, the company is made a sale of rupees 5 lakh rupees. So let us see how are we going to enter and allocate to a individual department, that is the sales department. Particulars is sales ledger, okay, and the amount is 5 lakh. The moment you enter, now it is going to ask you for the cost center allocation. In this case, we are going to allocate the entire amount of 5 lakh rupees to the sales department. Enter. Following are the other transactions for the company on various dates. These entries I have already captured, and we have to understand what is the purpose of this exercise. The objective the organization wants to achieve is to track the cost incurred for each of the department, and also they would want to analyze the same. Now let us quickly go to the cost center report and view the result of these transactions which have been allocated to respective cost centers. To view cost center, you can use the go to option, which is your secret number 3, or you can go through the menu option. So for you to view the cost center summary, you can click on go to and type cost. You will see cost center summary. Enter, and you will now get the cost center summary. Since we have created the department as the primary cost center, all report, you know that Tally will always give you the condensed report. Now if we want to know what is the breakup of the total, debit is nothing but the expenses part of it, and credit is the revenue or the income part of it. So to view the breakup of the allocations to various department, you have to view the information in detailed format. So press Alt F5. You will now see the breakup of the allocation of expenses for all the departments. In case of sales department, we will notice that there is expenses allocated and also the income allocated, which is the 5 lakh sale that is occurred. The menu option to view the cost center report with various permutation and combination would be click on display more report, and you have the statement of accounts. Click on statement of accounts. You have cost center menu. Come down to cost center menu, enter, and here just now we saw the cost center summary. So cost center breakup is, you go to this option and now you can select any one cost center. It is going to give you the breakup of the cost center. Again, Alt F5 is going to give you now the ledgers or the expenses which has been allocated to the department of accounts. You can also compare the cost center allocation for various departments in this single report. So how do you do that? Again, remember your secret number 1. On the right hand side button bar, you have this button called auto column. Click on auto column and select cost centers. Enter, and we don't need total, just press enter. You will now see the cost center allocations for each of the departments, that is accounts. Department is the total, then HR, and you also see that it says there are 5 more columns to the right. So use your right arrow key and then you can see HR, maintenance, marketing, 3 more, production, sales, and your stores. For some reason, if you don't want this total allocation to the department, you can always delete this column. Again, come to the right hand side button bar. You have this option called delete column. Make sure that your cursor is in the column which you want to delete. The cursor is now here on the departments column. I am going to now click on delete column, and that column gets deleted. The other analysis that you can do is, you can come to ledger breakup, take a particular ledger, that is your expenses ledger, enter, and here it is going to now tell you this particular expenditure, how the expenses have been allocated to various departments. Here again, you can use additional columns or new column to compare the allocation of other expenses to various departments. For example, let us say that now you want to view the allocation of other ledger, or you want to compare. So you go to new column and enter the date is going to be the same. Now here you can select the ledger for which the allocation information that you want to view here. Let us select traveling expenses, enter, and you will now see the traveling expenses has been incurred or allocated only to the sales department, and other departments there are no traveling. So this way you can keep adding new column and compare the expenses cost center wise of your requirement. I hope this session would have given many of you the clarity of how you can leverage the feature of cost center of Tally Prime and use it for your tracking of your expenses and income. So thank you all once again for staying till the end. See you all in the next session. Thank you very much.